Hey, Harvest Time family, we're doing something we've never done before because we're in the middle of Snowpocalypse. It just continues on and on and on. And we are canceling our fourth service out of the last five. And I have brought up a panel of experts here. Actually, it's the people that you never see because they're always downstairs on Wednesdays, and now we're upstairs. And none of us can make it home because we're stuck at church. And so we just decided to just share a little bit about how we can deal with this. And some of you may be wondering, well, why share now? Because by the time I watch this, the snow will be over. It'll never be over. It's just continue on and on. And so to break the crowd and kind of get an idea, we have a would you rather. And here's a family question for you. Would you rather skip spring break or go to school until Father's Day? And so that's pretty well the two options that we have right here. And actually, why we're doing this is how to deal with this, because families all push together and everything like that going on. And I know tempers can rage during this. And we are in a series called How to Deal with Conflict. I've been going to the other campuses myself in Mondovi and Chippewa, and they've been here. So dealing with conflict, guys, in the home, it is a real thing. And so, Kyle, what do you have?
Yeah, so the first thought that I wanted to give you is one of the reasons there's conflict, and I guess I'll say it in my house and probably everyone else's house, is unmet expectations. And so when you have an expectation for the day or a specific event or something you're hoping will happen, it can create this sense inside of conflict because all of a sudden you're not meeting my expectation of how this is supposed to happen. And so, example, tonight, there's no youth group. So for students, it can be an unmet expectation of I was hoping to hang out with my friends and experience Jesus tonight. That's not going to happen because of an unmet expectation. For the young 7-year-old who is planning on going on a field trip today, you had an unmet expectation of, man, I wanted to go on that. That's not happening. And then for the adults that are listening, you had an expectation of, you know what, I had to go to work today. I had an important meeting, and now I can't do that because of the snow. Or flip it around, all of a sudden you were hoping to get a day off and be able to be with your family, and suddenly work is saying call you in, and then now you can't, and then you're not able to spend that quality time with your family that you're hoping to, and it just creates these times where I wanted this to happen and it's not happening, and when those happen, all of a sudden blame can happen. All these different things can come out because I wanted this to happen so badly and it's not happening. And so as a family, for the next few minutes, I want you to kind of talk about what are some things maybe today that you were hoping were going to happen that haven't happened today. So take a few minutes and look at that.
Well, I hope you guys had some great discussion about what are some things that you had planned to do today. Again, it could be anything from kids having expectation at school. Even for my own daughter, I know that her recess is like her favorite thing, and not being able to play with her friends, not being able to hang out with people at school is a big thing that keeps her from finding joy in a snow day. So one of the things that God's been really impressing upon me lately is so many of the things that we struggle with, like unmet expectations, are really rooted in selfishness, which is never a fun topic to explore, but our unmet expectations come from our desire to really please ourselves. I wanted to do these things and they didn't happen. And in turn, those unmet expectations then bring in attitudes toward each other, maybe how we view the day, how we look at what happens in the rest of our day. And it's never fun. It's never fun to look at selfishness and say, oh man, this is something that I have to deal with. But if you think about it, a lot of what we do actually is highlighted in these moments where our plans get changed. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like my plans to get changed. And most of us are already looking towards the next day, looking towards 2-3 days. I mean, I don't even know how many conversations we've even had this week about, well, what about this weekend? What about the next couple of days of what's going to change? Can we plan for these things? And I was highlighting a couple verses just in scripture. Philippians 2, verse 3, it says, don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble. Thinking of others is better than yourselves. Don't look out for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. Or in Matthew chapter 6, where it says, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring in its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. And I think what happens is in our society, in our culture, we're planning, we're trying to get everything down to every single minute. What am I going to do? How is this going to look? How is it going to affect me? And a snow day is one big, huge reminder that we really don't have control of anything. We don't have control over tomorrow, what tomorrow looks like, and what is going to happen. And the beginning of a snow day is usually that moment where we get to determine our attitude, where we find our joy, where we find our peace. We could look at it, we were discussing even earlier today, ways that you can look at it. We were joking, but it's true. The flu season has not been as bad, but we also haven't been around each other. So I don't know about you, but if I'm picking between a snow day and the flu, I will take the snow day. But it's hard sometimes to find joy in those moments because we are thinking about, how does this affect me? How does this affect what I'm going through? How is it going to affect my work? How is it going to affect my school? How is it going to affect the days I have to make up? Will it affect spring break? Will it affect the summer? And we come face to face with realizing, you know what, I've got some selfishness in me. I've got some control issues in me that I need to let go of and see maybe what is God doing in these moments that don't have to do with me, that don't have to do with how this affects me. So take a second, ask your family the question, what are some ways you have seen selfishness show up in your home today during these 8 snow days that we have had? What are some ways that selfishness has reared its head? And it could be in simple things of unmet expectations, or maybe it's showing up in different ways, maybe toys or different things in your home that are being fought over. But what are some ways selfishness is showing up in your home today?
Yeah, just a great question. I'm sure that it's a hard one. It's much easier to say how selfishness is showing up in the other people in the house and not me, because that's just us. Hey, we get together as a staff, and one of the interns just came up with this stat, and I love it when it talks about giving. And the stat was only 16% of people can actually give, and the other 84% will give if they're getting something in return, or trading. I think that was a trading. And I know it's really hard because a lot of us like to trade just our quiet time. And I don't have that because everybody's around right now. And that's my trade. And I love my kids, but I love them to be gone for a little bit because I need time to recoil and everything in my own life. And that's serious things. Again, when it happens time after time after time. And when you say unmet expectations, I know it's a horrible example, but I think of the Chevy Chase movie, Vacation and Christmas Vacation, the high expectations and how it just crumbled around about them. Take my word for it. Don't watch the movies. Just take my word for it, in that way. Because we say, oh, snow day, we're all going to go sledding. We're all going to do that. Seriously, I hope I can get home tonight where it is. And even that crumbles. But there are things we can do. We brainstorm. That's why I brought the smart people up here today. You go, well, where's James and Nathan? Well, you guys see James and Nathan all the time. So I'm bringing the people you don't see. And what are some things we can do to kind of do it? Because that whole idea of becoming a giver and getting the focus off us is huge.
Just to go in line with, we're talking about not being selfish. One of the greatest things that we can do during this time is reach out to our local neighborhood. I think a lot of times we think about impacting our community and we forget the person next door. And maybe it's something as simple as baking cookies and taking them to the neighbors next door. Maybe it's grabbing your shovel and shoveling out your neighbors, whether they need it or not, and not expecting anything in return. Taking those moments that you could maybe do something just for your family and doing them for your neighborhood. And in Acts, it tells us to go out and to be in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth, to take the gospel. And in that instance, Jerusalem was their local community. And so Jerusalem starts on your street. It starts in your local community, right where you are, with the people around you, and really serving those around you will combat the selfishness that we're feeling, but also spread the light of Christ right in our neighborhood.
And the greatest thing about being a Christ follower is that the church isn't a building. You are the church. And so you get to be the church in action. And so this great opportunities to do that. One thing I would love to see happen today is this is called a cell phone, in case you haven't seen one. And the average adult spends 3 hours a day on social media. And then I found another statistic that says 37 minutes a day a family will spend in quality time. So there's a little bit of an uneven and imbalance thing going on. So I'd love for just to set aside some time today, or even have a phone-free zone in your house today, where you're putting the phone away, and you know what, you get to be the church in your family as well. And so to create some, like, bring out that board game, bring out Sorry, and there'll be some other conflict that happens because of that. But create some memories. Do a puzzle. Allison, you had mentioned the snow paint and the snow ice cream, and so you have questions, shoot Allison.
Pinterest is your friend.
Yeah, Pinterest is your friend.
But snow paint's super easy. It's food coloring water in a squirt bottle, and you can paint in the snow, which is nice to add a little color to all of the whiteness right now. We could add a little. It's a nice breakup. I did it with my daughter the other day, and we had a blast. It was so much fun.
Yeah, and even shoveling together, having not necessarily always the fun thing, but shoveling. What you're doing is you have a goal, and it's something cool when you reach that goal together as a family, and you're like, you know what, we're going to do this, we're going to tackle this, and then you see that getting done, and you get it done. It's like, yes, we did this, and so you can then come in and get a hot chocolate. No, everyone loves good hot chocolate, so can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, so I appreciate these guys sharing. Guys, it's been a unique month. We're setting records. At least we're setting records, and you've been alive for a record. You can't beat that. And more on the way as the month continues on. And so tonight, be the church. We have not canceled church. We do never cancel church. We cancel a service when we come together, but we don't cancel church because you are the church. Let's just be the church. Let's ask God, forgive me for being selfish, because let's face it, when we're in a situation like this, who we really are rises to the top. And so, God, forgive us. Help us to be givers instead of takers or traders or something like that. God, help us to do it. Let me pray a blessing on you. Thanks for watching this, putting up with it. God, bless Harvest Time family in Chippewa, Mondovi, Harvest Panic family. God, use them to be the church. God, use this time to create memories with each other. I don't care if it's a blanket over chairs, that's a tent. God, use it to create memories that would last. And Lord, just advance your kingdom through this time of what we're going through. May your church be the church. Bless them powerfully, I ask. Keep them safe on the roads. In your name, amen.
Take a minute as we end, and if you have done one of these things, put it in the comments below so we can see how the church has been the church this week. We'd love to see if your snow paints or cookies that you made for neighbors or outside shoveling with your friends and neighbors, then put it in the comments below.
Oh, yeah. It's not, hey, look how good our family is. It's basically, give me an idea, help. So right here, underneath, right there, look at the comments, okay? Bless you.